Just a quick note. This is part 2 of a 2-part series, so listen to the episode before this one before you give this a listen. Thanks. Even though I've been a cognitive behavioral coach and therapist for over a decade, I still catch myself falling into thinking errors. I realize what's happening and pull myself back to more logical thought. There's no quote-unquote cure for overcoming thinking errors, but with knowledge and experience, you can lessen the effects these distortions have on your life. On this episode of The Waiting, we'll talk about a few more of these errors and how best to deal with them. One of my least favorite thinking errors is jumping to conclusions. It goes like this. I take a single fact and imagine it will continue forever. For instance, let's say one week I'll lose 2.5 pounds. That fact will get me so stoked, I'll immediately imagine that pattern will continue every week until I meet my goal. The emotion around that success will kick it off, and I'm going to go buy some new clothes. I might need to rethink that beach vacation. I'll be the hottest guy in the gym. But the next week, my weight is up 0.5 pound. But I'm supposed to be losing 2.5 pounds a week. WTF? I'm supposed to be cutting weight and have a six-pack by New Year's, and now I've gained weight? I'll never reach my goal. I might as well give up. I'll never be anything but a fat pig. See, I just did it again. In the first case, I took a positive and made it a fact that will continue forever. And then, in the second example, I took the 0.5 pound gain and saw that as an undying pattern of failure. I'm doomed. Eating and exercise don't work. It never has, and it never will. All that was formed in my brain in 1 second. Actually faster than that, about 0.06 of a second. Neither one is true. Losing weight one week does not mean the same thing will happen the next. Neither will gaining the next week. Neither is a sign of anything. Each weight is a single data point. Let's talk about mind reading. Mind reading is a variation on jumping to conclusions. With this thinking error, we believe we actually know what another person or group of people is thinking. I'm a huge fan of the amazing Kreskin, the famous mentalist. He's made a career out of claiming he can read other people's thoughts.
Who is thinking Allie? Does that ring a bell? Will the lady come over here? Is it spelled A-L-L? Is it I-E or with it is I? That's unusual. Who is Allie?
My daughter.
Can I ask you this? You're asking me in your mind about, is it your dog you're thinking about? Is it the dog? You have a dog?
I have a dog.
You have a dog. Does the initial C ring a bell? Yes or no? Yes or no? Is that the initial of the dog?
Yes.
Would the dog's name be Cody?
Yes.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that.
I think he's an incredibly talented performer. I've actually had my thoughts, quote unquote, read by him earlier this year at a lunch we both attended. You can see a picture of it on this week's show page, waitingpodcast.com. I was amazed, but reserved my skepticism. Kreskin aside, outside of that experience, I've never met anyone who can read minds, but most people think they can. Mind reading is you riffing on Kreskin, feeling like you know exactly what another person is thinking. Mind reading is so dangerous because it's just guessing. We forget that what we quote-unquote know is simply a guess, and that false fact is what we make decisions on. A guess. For example, I walk into a party and see a young woman near me. I recognize her. It's my sister's coworker, Andrea. I've always wanted to get to know her. So I smile and start talking, working hard to connect. It's going nowhere, but I plow ahead, and she keeps answering me in single words, grunts, or silence. After a few minutes, I think, this girl hates me. So I say, I used to think you were nice, but I guess I was wrong. I storm away, alone and dejected. I go home and text my sister, telling her what happened to me. My sister says, oh gosh, why was Andrea at the party? Our boss fired her a few hours ago. Immediately, I feel worse than I did before. I thought her reaction was about me, but I was totally wrong. Instead of being furious, I should have been curious, checking in and asking if everything was okay. What I did can't be undone, and it's all because I mistook a guess for a fact. Next up, discounting the positive, an issue I see people struggle with constantly. I have a client who needs to have a lot of followers on social media as he's an entertainer, and being an influencer can lead to lucrative endorsement offers and possible jobs. For the past 6 months, he's been working hard to get 10,000 followers. A few days ago, I peeked at his profile and ta-da! He had just crossed the 10K line. I took a screenshot, texted him, and said, congrats. A few minutes later, I got the message, yeah, but it's just 10,000. If a few people unfollow me, I'll be back to the 9,000s. Huh? He just got what he wanted, but was unable to enjoy it for even a few seconds without negative thoughts flooding his neural pathways and making him feel like a failure, even when he got exactly what he wants. Last, but certainly not least in the countdown of deplorables, is the fallacy of fairness. Accepting the fact that the world is not fair is a real struggle for humans, mainly because it's not. I have a friend whose metabolism is twice, maybe 3 times as fast as mine. And because of these metabolic differences in our rates, he cuts fat a great deal faster than I do. It's not fair. Period. There's nothing more to say. But as long as I believe it should be fair, yes, that is should thinking, then I'm going to feel angry and disappointed and eventually hopeless about my ability to obtain my goal. When I stop worrying about fairness, I can devote my energies to the hard work I need to get what I want. You may have noticed that there's some overlap in many of these thinking errors. With experience and working with a professional, you can detect and reframe these thoughts. But becoming aware of them and eventually rooting them out of our life is hard work and well worth the effort. It certainly changed my life for the better. Your mind will use these distortions to make you feel bad and helpless and hopeless unless they are caught and replaced with more accurate thought. Don't ignore them or pretend they're not true. Examine them and ask yourself, is this a legitimate thought or just another thinking error? Beating yourself up has never worked, and cognitive distortions are the clubs most of us use to batter and bruise ourselves about our bodies, our futures, and our lives. I'm not discounting anything positive in this week's assessment with Ryan. Okay, I might be jumping to some conclusions as I'm just back from Germany and wondering if that bratwurst has made me worse than I was before I left. Germany was me sitting around. There's no gym. There's a 7-hour time difference. So I was asleep in the middle of the day and weird times in the evening. The sun sets at 4:30. It's a house with 5 kids, 4 of them 6 and under.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just me talking to kids and trying to stay awake, and no activity. Like, we're on base, there's no gym, and everything's closed on the base. But we did get up and we walked some in a couple of days. I mean, I did more than 10,000 steps. I had my Neat app.
Great.
And I would just go out and just find a course and just walk around.
Good.
Yeah, and I have not worked out or weighed myself since the last time we worked out and weighed.
Wow, okay. So
I guess
10 days ago, 11 days ago?
No, well then I'm wrong. I've actually done a whole weekend of workouts. It just feels
okay.
like it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But it actually was like not that
Oh,
long ago at all. But I've been around the world and back again. So so I don't know. I don't know where I stand right now because of what happened to me in England last year. I freaked out and I was like, I can't count my calories. And then I was like, hold it, stop. There's nothing to get upset about because you can't count your calories.
What are you gonna do?
You don't worry about things you can't control. And I found a Starbucks at the train station and I ate a piece of carrot cake in honor of giving the hell up.
Thanksgiving carrot cake. Something to be grateful for.
And we ate, my goddaughter made a beautiful lemon meringue pie.
Nice.
Which, from scratch. And I had a couple of slices.
Sweet.
And we had a couple of, if you look at my Instagram, we had a cup of eggnog.
Oh, yeah?
But, God, it was rich. So I had one cup and I was like, I'm done. It wasn't even like tempting. It was so, I
super
guess
sugary,
my palate has changed.
Yeah, I've never had eggnog, so I don't even really know what it tastes like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really kind of
It's never
amazing.
been a thing at my family. I don't know. I've never done that.
It's really kind of amazing, but boy, it's dense. Holy cow. And we talked about putting liquor in it, but after I had that little cup straight, I was like, I'm not having any more, and I sure don't need any liquor.
You party animal.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. That's a medium sweater that I wore in here. And it fits, and it's not like I can't put my pants on, so nothing too horrible happened, but not anything remarkable has happened in the other direction.
Yeah, well, if you're able to go through all that and you maintain or not go up too crazy, then that's a win in my book.
Yeah.
And it's more the mental aspect of it for me that you were able to just turn it off. And that's super key because you can always get back on.
And that's a really good point because it was such a relief to me. Boy, this is going to sound odd to some people who listen to this. I got a really nice compliment on this show yesterday out of the blue. I was like, oh, well,
that's
good.
nice. Somebody
listens. I know some people listen, but it was nice to hear that they listen and they want to hear more.
Cool.
It was very comforting for me to get back into it.
Yeah. Sometimes you need that little break just to kind of feel re-energized and go back at it harder.
I was super stoked about, wow, I can count my calories and I can eat my protein bar, and I know future sponsor, Nugo, who makes the stronger bar, the best protein bar on the market. It's the best 25 grams of protein.
Wow.
But not available in Europe.
Nope.
I've already tested that theory in 2 different countries. It was nice to get back and just eat my 2,000 calories, have my protein in place.
Yeah.
Wow, that felt good.
Good.
Speaking of which, I wrote that guy about making prepped meals for me.
Oh, yeah?
He did not respond to me, so I need to follow up with him.
All right.
Anyway, he's probably busy in the kitchen.
Yeah, I bet.
So, all right, so now we're going to do the thing we're going to do. And do you know what? I am not going to try to mic this part because every time that we do a show, I send Patrick a note from 7:11 to 12:13. Don't use it because it's off mic or it's bad.
Yeah, well, we can just talk about it.
I'm going to pause the mics. We're going to wait, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay, so we'll see you all in a minute. And we're back on the air. Okay, good. All right. So what is the results?
What is the damage here? All right, so last time we were...
Damage is a really great. Yes, you ate some carrot cake and some lemon meringue, and you sat on your butt for a week.
Yes.
So what's the damage?
What's the damage? It'll make you suffer. Okay, so last time we weighed in was 11-12, so that would have been last Monday, right? Or Monday before last?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we were at 18.6% body fat and 219.1 on the weight. Today we were at 18.6 body fat, which is, 19.1% body fat, so that's half a percentage up.
Going up. Yeah.
And then we're up half a pound. So we're at 19.6.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
So yeah, you're up half a pound. I mean, like that, which is basically nothing. I mean, that's
I mean, yeah. Really, I mean, do you know what I ate? That's kind of what you do. So carrot cake and lemon meringue.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. Like, you know, everything about that trip, like just between the sleep deprivation, the flight, you know, getting on multiple flights, the stress of being in a different home, you know, like being around children, like everything about that would indicate you're not exercising. Would assume that your weight would go up.
Yeah, like 5 pounds.
But it's kind of crazy how sometimes it just doesn't happen the way that you think, and you know, a lot of times it doesn't go down the way you think it will either.
Well, God knows that's true. I know about that side of it.
Yeah,
so
So
that's great.
So it's like, I guess the moral of the story is just don't do anything ever. You know?
Yes.
Don't exercise. Yeah. Don't work out. Just be exactly the same.
A year into this podcast,
that's
what we've discovered is don't do anything.
Don't do anything.
Okay.
But keep paying me.
He's kidding.
He's
kidding everyone.
No, you know, it's just there's so many things that regulate this stuff that it's very interesting. I mean, I would speculate that you know, if you weren't recording your food and you weren't exercising as much, you were probably, without even thinking about it, not eating as much.
Well, yeah, I mean, I do have definitely, I can't think of the word that I want to use, but it's something that definitely restricts my behavior. Yeah, and it's so weird. As a matter of fact, I'm still kind of in that groove. Last night at 10 o'clock, I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I find in my bag an entire meal that I had not eaten.
For the day?
Like one of my meals.
Yeah.
A whole thing of chicken and salad. It's like 12 ounces of chicken, like grilled chicken. And so I had to eat it at 10 o'clock last night.
Yeah, I'm glad you ate it.
I probably slept about 4.5 hours because I usually go to bed with an empty stomach, and I go to bed with this stomach full of food, so my body's like going.
The hell's that? Yeah.
But so it really has it's a governing thing. It's something in my mind that's had me really like, you don't really want that, do you? You don't really want that, do you? So it's been very interesting how after 2 years of doing this, that it's even when I want to cheat, it still kind of keeps me moderated.
You're still doing the math in your head, or there's some kind of game that you're playing. I know because I'm doing the same damn thing. Like I still do that, where it's like, okay, well, I want to have this carrot cake, so all right, well, I don't really need to eat carbs with this meal or fat with this meal. I'll just have protein and vegetables, and then protein vegetables again, and then and then it ends up and that you could consider that to be some type of disordered eating, but I think that we all have to have some regulation with that, and I think that at the end of the day, it allows you to be flexible. I mean, that's what we call intuitive eating. That's you're thinking about this stuff. You know the numbers well enough that you don't actually need them, and that's the goal to get to. And I think that eventually that can be very freeing because it allows you to have whatever you want. You just have to just can't be like a complete binge fest.
Yeah. Well, and you don't really want to binge. Yeah. I mean, you're making me think about two studies. The first is one where we talked about